Right, so today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, at the time of this video being recorded, it's around 66k in US dollars. The market cap 1.27 trillion roughly. So a lot of people think they've missed Bitcoin. They say to themselves there's no point investing. Some people even think it's going to go to zero. But what if I told you that at 66k Bitcoin is still tiny compared to global wealth? So today I'm going to be breaking a few things down: the maths, the market cap comparison, the adoption trend, and what it would mean if different money went into Bitcoin. So sit back, relax, and plug in. First of all, the first concept is this: Bitcoin, we need to understand the market cap. Now, the market cap basically means price times supply. Bitcoin has a hard market cap of 21 million coins. So at 66k per coin, that's basically 21 million coins times the price, which is 66k, and that equals 1.38 trillion roughly, right? Now let's compare that to gold. Gold's total market cap is around 36 trillion. So there's two types of market caps here for Bitcoin. You've got the circulating market cap, which is 1.27. That's the market cap that we're going to be talking about today, because the other market cap, which is slightly higher, a lot of the coins have gone missing and stuff like that. So we're just going to talk about the 1.27 market cap. Now let's bring it back to gold's market cap, which is 36 trillion. Let's do some quick maths. 36 trillion divided by 1.27 trillion. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Gold is 28 times bigger than Bitcoin. 28 times bigger than Bitcoin. Let that sink in. Now, if Bitcoin is going to become digital gold, it doesn't need to beat gold in market cap. It just needs to close the gap. That's it. But let's just say Bitcoin was to reach gold's 36 trillion market cap. That would be 36 trillion divided by 21 million coins, and that would have each Bitcoin valued at 1.7 million pounds. Now we're currently at 66. So if you think that Bitcoin can match gold's market cap, then you're basically saying that you believe the price for one Bitcoin can reach 1.7 million. Now, I'm not saying that's guaranteed. I'm just showing you a different perspective. I'm just showing you how scaling actually works. Now, let's just say it's not going to match gold's market cap. And let's just say Bitcoin only reaches half of gold's market cap. Half of gold's market cap is 18 trillion. So if we take 18 trillion and divide that by the amount of coins, which is, let's just say, which is 21 million, that maths makes Bitcoin become 857,000 pounds per coin. That is more than a 10x to what the current price is. So all of a sudden, that 500 mark that I'm talking about doesn't sound so far off, does it? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. I'm actually going to look at it from the global wealth pool point of view, and the global wealth pool is massive. So let's imagine this: the global real estate value, that is 393 trillion. That's the current value. Now let's look at the global assets, that's private and public. That's 247 trillion. Now let's look at the global equity. Global equities is 120 trillion. Now let's look at the global bonds. That is 100 trillion. Now let's just imagine this. What if just 2% of each major pool flows into Bitcoin? I'm not asking for much here. I'm just saying a 2% of that global pool flows into Bitcoin over the years, because bankers and decision makers are reshuffling portfolios and exposing their portfolio to different risk. That's all I'm saying. Now let's actually calculate this. 2% of global real estate. Now 2% of the global real estate is 7.87 trillion. 2% of global equities, that's 2.4 trillion. And 2% of global bonds, that's 2 trillion. Now, if we add that to Bitcoin's current market cap, right, and we divide that by 21 million coins, the value of a Bitcoin is now 642 Bitcoin per Bitcoin, sorry. So that's just 2%. I'm not asking for 10%. I'm not asking for 20%. I'm just saying 2% of the global wealth pool that should flow into Bitcoin in order for Bitcoin to be valued at 642k per Bitcoin. Now imagine this. Venezuela is doing it. Imagine the global sovereign wealth funds started allocating just 1% into Bitcoin, right? Now the global sovereign wealth assets are roughly around 12 to 15 trillion. Now 1% of that is 150 billion. If you add that to the current Bitcoin market cap, that alone doesn't move it to 500k. But here's the key. What it will do is it will start creating demand, because as soon as sovereign wealth funds goes into Bitcoin, the question isn't is Bitcoin a scam? Is Bitcoin going to zero? That's consumer confidence, and everybody will look at that as a big move. Now we know that gold can be mined. Supply grows around 1 to 2% per year. With Bitcoin, it's 21 million coins, and millions are already lost. The central bank cannot print anymore, and no government can dilute it. So when demand increases, the price is just going to go up. And where we are right now, we're seeing some sort of adoption trend. We're seeing spot Bitcoin ETFs. We're seeing corporate treasury allocation. The younger generation, we prefer digital assets. So adoption is no longer retail hype. It's becoming some sort of institutional infrastructure. Bitcoin today is like the internet in the early broadband era. It's still early globally, but mass adoption, it doesn't happen overnight. So are you late? When you put in that perspective, you're quite early. People said they was late at 1k, at 10k. I was speaking to a very good friend of mine, and we was both on the phone looking at the chart when it was trading around $12,000 per Bitcoin, and he wanted the price of 10k. And I said to him, in 10 years time, it wouldn't make a difference. Trying to save £2,000 isn't going to make a difference. And I'm pretty sure when he looks at this video and watches it, he's going to assess the situation and see that 66k is still a good price. Now, I'm not saying go and buy a Bitcoin at 66k. We are potentially heading towards a bear market if the market doesn't bounce from here. And if we do head to a bear market, you probably get the opportunity to buy a Bitcoin for 40k, even 38k. So that's the situation we're currently in. Now, back to the price of Bitcoin. To reach 500k, Bitcoin would need a market cap of around 10 trillion. And when you look at it, that's less than 1/3 of Bitcoin and around 2 to 3% of major global wealth pools. Is that guaranteed? No. Is it mathematically possible? Yes. So there you have it. Bitcoin at 66k. It feels expensive emotionally, but when you zoom out, it's still small globally. If adoption continues, the right capital flows in, then 66k in the next 10 years would look like a fantastic buy, to the point that everybody will probably say you were smart. So if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment, share. I've got more videos coming out, and that's going to be about trading, finance, and everything really.